If you're leading a team in 2024, I don't care if you're in the office, you're in the field, or somewhere in between, and you have to exercise your authority, you are not leading. So what's the alternative? We're going to cover that and a few other tips in today's episode. Welcome to the PioneerCast. I'm Dwayne Abels, founder and president of PioneerIQ. I hope over the course of the next several minutes you're able to pick something up that truly helps you understand the people on your team just a little bit more, and you pick something up that helps you maximize their potential so that you can continue to go out and do great things with your team and the clients that you serve. We're in the middle of a series that we're calling the 4 mindset shifts required to be an effective leader in 2024. We've done a ton of research on this. We have thousands and thousands of hours with design and construction professionals all over the country, specifically on how to be more effective leaders. It boils down to 4 things that we're covering in this particular series. And the great news is that they're all free. They're all easy. It just takes tenacity and your personal determination to incorporate them. If you or someone on your team truly wants to better engage people and maximize their potential and get the most out of their team, I'm borderline begging you to get them to a boot camp. At these boot camps, I guarantee you 3 things are going to happen. Number 1, you and the people that you bring from your team are going to come together as a team and gel more so than any other time. Number 2, you're going to help them make life decisions about who they are, what they're great at, and what they could become at home and on your team and at work. And then thirdly, you're going to be able to see into what you could become as a leader, what it means to lead in 2024, and how to maximize the potential of the people around you, both at home and at work. Take the next steps. Go to our website, pioneerq.com. We've got these all across the country, and sign up. Here to walk us through all 4 mindsets is Dan Benton. Dan Benton, thanks for joining us.
Glad to be here.
All right, so this is the 3rd of 4 mindset shifts that we're covering today. And I just wanted to stop and reiterate how much I'm appreciative of your expertise and experience. You know, when we bring somebody in to our team, one of the things that we say is we don't want to bring anybody in that can't teach us stuff. And you've really done that, and I appreciate your insight and your tenaciousness to tell us where we're right and tell us where we're wrong and introduce us to new things.
Glad to. It's easy when it's critical for all leaders. It doesn't matter where you operate or what business you're running. These mindset shifts are critical for any leader.
Yep, absolutely. Yep. So this mindset that we're going to talk about today single-handedly has had more impact on my effectiveness as a leader at home or with our team here at work or with our clients than any other thing I've ever done, read, or tried to implement. Hands down, this is the number 1 thing that's impacted me the most and has changed my effectiveness as a leader. It's leading with love.
I'd agree 100%. The most powerful thing you can do as a leader.
Absolutely.
Helping leaders understand how to do that, because when you say this to a room, I need you to lead with love as opposed to authority, they're like, whoa, what does that mean?
All right, that's your
task. We're going to walk through that.
Let us have it. What do we got to do?
Well, first and foremost, it starts with knowing and understanding your team, right? Because you can't love somebody. We always talk about this. We talk about this with executives all across the country is if you can't love them, don't lead them.
Yes,
because
absolutely.
you are called to love them as a leader,
absolutely,
right?
Yes.
You can manage,
yep,
but you can't lead them,
yep,
right? So you have to know and understand them, understand what's important to them,
right,
understand their skills, gifts, and talents,
yep,
and understand what they want to do with their future. Not only with your company, but in their personal life. Because those 2 things, when you connect those, it's crazy powerful. So you have to take the time to know and understand them. One of our business partners, Dr. Shelley, always talks about do you know who's in the back seat? I think it's a really powerful statement around, do you truly understand who's important to them in their life and how you serve them?
Great point.
Yep.
Do I look like Travis Kelce? I'm just wondering.
Maybe more like Jason.
Okay, well, thanks.
Hey, he's the man.
He's the man. I mean, could you see me jumping out of a suite doing something like that? You know, gut showing?
Pure joy.
Hey, one of these days.
Yeah.
All right, back on track. Sorry, I don't know where that came from. We can cut that part out.
The second component of this is how do you implement it is once you understand and know your team, is to make as many deposits as withdrawals. Think about it like a checking account, right?
No doubt.
If you overdraw with a checking account, you're in trouble. So you have to make as many deposits. When I talk about deposits, I'm not only talking about recognizing, appreciating, I'm also talking about supporting them, right? Supporting them in their development, supporting them during a time of need. But you're not going to do that if you don't build that relationship and that trust to where they're going to come to you when they have a time of need, right?
That is countercultural to what most of us have been taught. You know, we back in the day, you know, we were taught, hey, you're the leader, you're supposed to know everything, you're supposed to, you know, be all efficient. But that is not what this generation of people is about. And I don't care how old you are, but what we see on a daily basis is people just want to belong. They want to be a part of something significant. And in order to do that, you really have to help them understand their contribution, their connection, and love them enough to speak into them. This is totally an inappropriate comment, but you know, I grew up in the oil field, and these guys were just tough, you know. And there was an older man that I really looked up to. I mean, I was like 14 or 15 at the time. And this guy was probably 65, 66, working circles around people. And he'd look at me after, you know, our foreman was kind of rude. And he goes, being Tommy Tough Nuts never got anybody a better job promotion. You know, and that has always stuck with me. It's like, you don't have to be that way. You just got to love people, man.
Yep. And you've got to be honest with them, right? I think there's no better way to create that connectivity, that trust, than to be really honest with how you feel and what you're going through in life and what your thought process is, right?
So if I'm a team lead of a design or construction, you know, team, or, you know, somebody within the scope of the construction process, what are some specific things that I need to make sure that I'm doing to not just say I'm leading with love, but actually live that? Because just saying that probably actually sets you back a little bit.
Yeah, I think that transparency first and foremost, to be honest. Second of all, and this is counterintuitive to what you would think when I say lead with love, is to hold them accountable to their potential, right?
Yes.
So often as leaders, we talk about a goal, an objective, a common workplace standard, but holding your team accountable to their potential, just like a great coach would, just like a father or mother would, you're holding somebody accountable to their potential. Although they may not see it, that's what you should be holding them accountable to.
Explain more of that, because every time we say that in a boot camp or we're working with a team, they're like, oh man, I love that. But they don't actually know what that means. It's people have a hard time wrapping their head around that concept. The way that I like to say that is sometimes some leaders have the ability to see people's potential. And what we talk a lot about is let's say that they hit all their goals for the year. And it's not that you shouldn't celebrate that, but if you really know that person, that leader that's reporting to you, or that leader that you're reporting to, you should celebrate that, but you know that they actually could perform more or better. And you're holding them accountable to that, even if they're exceeding, right? Is that what we mean by that?
Yeah,
Is there a better way to say it?
No, you're achieving far too often we're achieving what should be underperformance for a certain individual because they have the potential of the X factor, and we're celebrating him, right? How do we get him to X? And that's what's counterintuitive, because we say lead with love. People are like, oh, we need to be softer. Complete opposite, right? Because the greatest coaches in history were all admired and respected for how tough they were, because they pushed their teams to be the best version of themselves and contribute at the highest levels.
Yeah.
So that's what you've got to do, and you've got to be willing to have those critical conversations, right? If I don't care about your success, I'm not going to have a critical conversation, right? Yeah. And you can love your team, but if it's all rainbows, unicorn, butterfly, kittens, you're going to fail,
right?
Because you're not holding them to a standard. And guess what? You're going to demotivate your top performers, and you're going to keep around your bottom performers that don't contribute, that you need to get.
No doubt. You're hitting on something that we see all the time that just isn't stated enough. And this is so true. The standard that you allow your lowest performer to operate with is the standard that your high performers think is the bar.
Yep.
And this is what's true. Take this to the bank. High performers don't want to be around low performers, and low performers don't want to be around high performers. It doesn't work. Yep. It's not just Alabama football and Nick Saban. That's the truth, right? We see it all the time. And so when we walk into these companies, you see these teams, and you're like, damn, that woman's got some serious potential. And then we look across the room and she's pissed off, burnt out, and everything else because she's putting off with Johnny JoJo in the corner who's sitting on his freaking phone playing Tetris or something.
Right? That should have been gone a long time ago.
This should have, and everybody knows it.
But we mistake loving people in the truest definition of it. You want to develop them for their potential. So keep that in mind. And even before you build that trusting relationship to where you have the trust and the relationship to go there, ask for the permission. I've done it with teams for years. When I'd start with a new team, start rebuilding an organization or a team, I'd be like, hey, listen, I, as your leader, I want what's best for you. I know we haven't built that trust yet, but can I push you for what I see as your potential? Yes. And guess what? I've never had someone tell me no to that.
Yep. The day you start leading people based on the lowest standard is the day you start your irrelevancy. I'm telling you, if you aren't pushing them, they aren't going to grow. They aren't able to see. I mean, just me personally, my team all the time, maybe they have a low standard for me, but their ability to help me see the potential that we have when I'm not seeing it, my ability to accept it and then incorporate it into a vision, huge, huge. What do you say? Developing for their potential?
Developing for the potential.
Good.
Yep.
Good.
Not for the goal, the mediocre standard that's set by our society today, for their natural potential. And last thing I would give you is business is personal, right? I think our society has brainwashed organizations into believing, people have, into believing that business is not personal. Are you crazy? We spend more time at work than we do at home for most of us. You have got to be honest and transparent and take it personally. Like be honest around how you feel. Don't be inappropriate, right? There's lines we can't cross in the business world, but there is no way we can be successful as leaders if we take our personality out of how we lead and who we are. Because guess what? Then you're not being who you are. You're not being the true, transparent version of yourself, and your people will not trust you.
If you have people on your team that are still using the term business is business, get the hell out of there or get them the hell out. I'm telling you, that might be one of the worst lines that anybody could use at any level in any company in 2024. It's terrible. If they think business isn't personal, they have no clue on what it means to actually lead in 2024. I tell you, I think we should make a shirt, right? We have a lot of really good ones that we're making shirts around. That might be another one.
Yeah, we could add that one to the list.
Okay, Dan, so you just basically told everyone to lead with love. The alternative is leading with authority, which isn't leading, right? That's managing. You manage with authority. But it is so true. If you're leading in 2024, you have to love them.
Yeah, there's two options, really. You can call it authority. I'd say it's love them, or you lead with love, or you lead with fear, right? Yeah. And literally, I was given a book once when I was a young leader on, here's a great leadership study for you, and the book was titled Leading with Fear. It that tells you how far we've come, but don't mistake love for soft, because the greatest leaders in history hold their teams accountable to their potential. But you got to figure out what that potential is.
Yep. The most connected generation to ever be on planet Earth, and we're the most starving for genuine authenticity and love from people around us.
100%. Yeah, if you speak into your teams, like you said, this makes the biggest factor in my personal life and my professional life, and has over years and years, just to develop, understand, that love, leading your team with love, leading your family with love, leading the kids in your life with love. It's the most powerful thing you can do.
In the last 12 months, I've been on three of the largest job sites in the United States of America. Like literally, we've been on these job sites, and I'm telling you, the golden line on all three of those job sites. The underlying factor was those people truly cared and loved each other. I guarantee you. And there on a couple of the job sites, there were 2,000 or 3,000 people.
Yep.
And when you walk on a job site like that, I don't care if you're an apprentice or if it's your last day on the job period for your career. People want to be on those kind of job sites, man.
They want to be on those teams.
They want to be on those teams.
Where people love each other and care about each other.
That's a great point.
Like you stand out there on a job site at 6:30 in the morning doing stretch and flex.
Yeah.
And truly everybody engaged in it is because they care about each other, right? They love each other.
Hey, don't tell anybody the story of me stretch and flexing, please. I mean, come on. That's true, though. It was amazing. We showed up on a job site just a few months ago. Massive job site. I think it was a $5 billion project, some crazy number. and they're saying, hey, you're going to start out with a stretch and flex. And I'm thinking in my head, you're telling me that 400 or 500 people with steel toe boots and hard hats are going to be stretch and flexing? Nah. We got on that job site.
Everybody was doing it.
They were having a great time too.
Felt great after I did it too.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, I don't know about this.
Because you're getting old, man.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. Felt great though. Great way to start the day.
Well, we know that leading with love is no easy feat, and I'm telling you, some people are just way easier to love than others, but it does take courage. I'm just hoping that you'll see the value in doing that, and you'll break through whatever's holding you back from loving them more, because I guarantee you they need that. Until then, lead on.